2019 in Russia, Togliatti, where the home nation, headed up by Emil Sayfutdinov and Artem Laguta, took their second successive Speedway of Nations title. The pair, who'd narrowly won in Poland the year before against Great Britain, had all the pressure in front of their home fans for 2 consecutive days as they fought off Poland, Australia, Great Britain, Denmark, Sweden and Germany in the finals. All the teams reaching these latter stages put up a great fight with some spectacular racing, but it would eventually be Poland and Australia who took the fight right down to the final stages, with the Russians having to beat Australia in the final qualifier before meeting Poland in the grand final. The final was to be a tense affair after the first attempt saw Poland's Patryk Dudek fall on turn 1, stopping the race, with some feeling he should have been excluded. The rerun saw Sayfutdinov in red make no mistake as he took the lead with Laguta in blue a watching second. The pair would hold off the poles until the checkered flag, with a great bit of team riding to clinch their second successive trophy. The question now remains, can the Russians make it 3 in 3 years?
Yes. We did again, we're so happy, it's our crowd, here. And
so, after the cancellations of the qualification rounds and the grand finals in Manchester, Great Britain, the 2020 competition has now moved to the city of Lublin, Poland's 9th largest city, which is some 170 kilometres from the capital Warsaw. 340,000 people live in the area, and it's one of Poland's hidden treasures, with its picturesque old town and preserved buildings. Well, we were out of luck last night. The rain came down at just the wrong time. The riders were changed, they were ready to go. Lots of on-track discussions, but unfortunately, the rain won the day, which means we're down to a one-off meeting now. So let's remind you how the 2020 Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations works. 7 nations in a one-off world final now, remember. The top scorers after 21 races go straight through to the grand final. There's a grand final qualifier, a last chance race-off, if you like, for 2nd and 3rd. The winners of that join the highest scorers in the final to determine the world champions. Here's how the scoring system works for the Speedway of Nations. It's new for this year. 4 points for a win, 3 for 2nd, 2 for 3rd, and nothing for finishing last. 2nd and 3rd place would get 5 points. If you win a heat but also finish last, only 4 points. Hi there, welcome along. It is the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations. It was supposed to be day 2, but day 1 was rained off, so today we're down to a one-off world final from the Stadion Mosir Bystraza in Lublin. It's good to have this venue as a brand new venue on the World Championship stage. Sadly, no fans in the stadium tonight because as of midnight, Poland went into more of a lockdown situation. The Polish side, Smarzlik, Wozniak and Kubera. Marek Cieslak is the well-established Polish team manager, of course. They've been out and they've had a skid already. I'm Kelvin Tatum alongside me. This was all with the aim of testing out the track after all the rain to see if the boys are happy to get out there, and we are going racing in about 6 minutes from now.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the world champion there, just doing a few laps. The Poles were actually the first out, so they got the best of the conditions. Track's a little bit choppy. It's not going to be easy, far from ideal conditions. It's cold, it's wet, it's drizzly. So we keep our fingers crossed. We're looking at the very young profile of the Great Britain team, with Lambert leading the way with Drew Kemp and Dan Bewley coming in to support him. Here are the Brits doing a few laps, Nige, and certainly Robert Lambert there we're looking at with the white helmet on. He seemed to enjoy himself quite a lot, so but he has plenty of British experience, of course, so maybe the track just cutting up a bit, he won't be too worried about that.
Yeah, Lambert, of course, a European champion. Good to see a youthful element of the Great Britain side. It will be tough for them. Here's the champions. Emil Sayfutdinov, Artem Laguta and Evgeny Saidulin. And the manager is Rinat Gafurov, who is normally just a representative of the Russian Federation, and he's a former rider, Gafurov, as well. And here we see the Russians warming up or testing conditions. Saidulin. Well,
the two major characters didn't ride, and it was Evgeny Saidulin actually was the only one that rode, the under-21 representative from Russia. Sayfutdinov and Laguta just watched on, quite clearly not sure, but they will be out there shortly. And the Czech Republic here, they've come in because Germany can't be here. And Milik will need to go well tonight. He has a good record in the Speedway of Nations. And Edward Kretschmar is in there as well, with Schulpak as well, the under-21 rider. They're the outsiders for this evening, there's no doubt about that. But as I say, Václav Milik on his day can beat anybody, so he'll be hoping for a big night.
Yep, Sweden with Freddie Lindgren, who challenged for the world individual title, of course. Oliver Berntsson is in the Grand Prix next year as a qualifier from the Grand Prix Challenge, of course. Freddie took it a little bit steady early on, but then just got into his stride. And we have to emphasise, the information we have is that all team managers agreed to go for it, Kel.
Yes, and I don't think everybody's going to be entirely happy with that, but there's every effort being made to make sure that this event goes ahead. These are the favourites for me, with Doyle, Frick and Lidsey from Australia. 3 riders in top form, Nige.
Yeah, Doyle had a good end to the Grand Prix campaign. Max Frick won a Grand Prix late on, and of course Jamin Lidsey is the new world under-21 champion. So they'll be in good shape. They'll be in a good mood going. Well, say a good mood. They might not be too happy with the conditions, but you know they're here to do a job, Kel.
They are, and as I say, they look a very good, balanced outfit with a strong under-21 rider. So they'll be looking forward to it. Denmark, of course, who haven't won a medal for some time now. Leon Madsen leading the way for the Danes. Anders Thompson, their new Danish champion, coming in. And he will also be a Grand Prix rider as well next year, alongside this man, Leon Madsen. And the Danes, well, as I say, they had so much success in the past, but just in recent times they haven't managed to pick up medals, so they'll be keen to get one this evening.
They will indeed. Madsen, of course, had a sensational 2019 World Championship, but 2020 on the back of a couple of operations clearly hampered him. So it's Poland, Great Britain, Russia, Czech Republic, Sweden, Australia and Denmark. I know it says day 2 on your graphic, but effectively it's a one-off world final because we lost last night in Lublin to the atrocious weather conditions. Bikes warming up. These are live shots in the pits now. Not everybody is going to be happy, but they're going to go for it, Kelv.
Yeah, and it's good to have racing. You know, hanging around when it's cold and wet and damp, it's not ideal. And just maybe once the track is used a bit and prepared and a little bit of track grading going on, let's hope that the track will improve. Young Dan Bewley there looking on, has improved scores recently in the 3rd and 4th playoff for Wrocław using Ty Woofenden's equipment. Great shame that Ty is not here this evening. Great Britain would have been in with a shout, that's for sure. There's the fueling station. All riders actually have to come up with their bikes empty of fuel, but the poles are ready, and it'll be interesting to see what they get up to tonight.
Yep, it's a 4-3-2-0 scoring system. Remember, Henrik Muller is the Danish team manager tonight because Hans Nielsen, isolated in his hotel bedroom, feeling a little ill and pending a COVID test. So he felt it best to isolate and stay away from the riders and the track. So Henrik Muller is the man in charge.
Yeah, I must apologise, that's my mistake. It's actually the Danes, of course, are out here in heat. No,
you're right, it's Poland.
That's Poland, yeah. I'm sure it was Bartosz Marczyk I was looking at. And I was just going to go on to say that Simon Wozniak comes in to join him here. No Maciej Janowski or Patrick Dudek that we've come so accustomed to seeing at the highest level. Time will tell whether that is the right decision to leave Janowski in particular out. A big decision from Marek Cieślak coming into tonight. They will be favourites, of course, for the opening race. But Robert Lambert, be interesting to see if they use Drew Kemp here. I would have thought that the Great Britain team would look to use Dan Bewley here in the opening race. He is, I'm not sure that Drew Kemp has ever actually raced in Poland before. Looking at Freddie Lindgren, just doing a few adjustments to his clutch lever. And this will be a leveller tonight with these conditions. Bikes now being pulled off, and as I say, a leveller. This is not ideal conditions, so this meeting is up for grabs. And, you know, Great Britain, an outsider, certainly we will be giving them all the very best, but Poland will come in at home. They'll be favourites. They've got the 2-time world champion there on the inside. They'll be looking for a big night for sure.
So we're building up to the first race of the night in Lublin. It's the world final. Speedway pairs action. Let's go with the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations, the one-off world final. Bartosz Zmarzlik in red, Szymon Wozniak in blue for Poland, and it's Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley who comes in for Drew Kemp in the yellow helmet colour. A big night for the British boys. Kelvin Tatum alongside me. Kelv, what a daunting first race for the British boys here.
Indeed it is. I don't think that Robert Lambert will have too many nerves. I think he will become accustomed to riding against these guys in the Extraliga. But nonetheless, you're right, in a World Championship meeting, up against Poland, who have such a great record in the team side of affairs, but they haven't won the Speedway Nations because that has belonged to Russia in the first two stagings of this particular championship, reverting back to a pairs format. Team riding, of course, 4 for a win, 3 for second, 2 for third, and nothing for coming last. So in second and third, that will beat a win, so we'll keep an eye out to see what the tactics are. Here we go.
Absolutely vital to make the start, get in front and dominate the race.
Oh, no! Disaster for the Brits.
Oh, dear, dear, dear.
Disaster for the Brits. Robert Lambert a bit keen there. May have been a touch of movement on the inside, but as you rightly said, Nige, just before the green light came on, starting is going to be absolutely vital, and Robert a little keen, squeezed between the two Poles there. He's looking across the front wheel of the world champion, and nerves just getting the better of him.
Oh dear, Robert. What a great year he's had as well. He's had a brilliant year. Alexandra Liatinsky, the referee, in charge of tonight's action. And just a nightmare start for Great Britain here.
Yeah, and he's our leader this evening, but as you rightly say, has had a terrific season, and you know, we need him leading from the front. He will miss this race. Bewley, who has had an up and down season, has found it difficult at times in Poland. Exclusion light on there, no surprise. He'll be kicking himself. He'll be ever so frustrated, having waited 2 days, and then in the first race this happens. You know, we're all human, and nerves have got the better of him there, just a little too eager, because the emphasis on getting away tonight and hitting the front and staying out of the dirt is going to be huge.
Do you know what, Kelv? I think Zmarzlik moved his right hand.
He hasn't moved there.
No, he moved his right hand to wind his throttle on a little bit more, and as he twitched, Lambert's left hand twitch and let the throttle go.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Am I trying to make excuses for Robert? I don't know.
A little, because I don't think that Zmarzlik made a movement with his bike. He was pretty still. I just think that you know, when you look at the surface there, it's clearly very wet still and damp. It's cold. It's not going to dry. The track is what the track is. It's a bit choppy, and it's going to be a bit greasy. So, a shame. And we can only hope that they can recover in the upcoming heats for the Great Britain team.
One rider only for Great Britain, then it's Dan Bewley. It's Zmarzlik and Wozniak for Poland. Wozniak, who had a spell in the UK with Leicester. And here we have the old loyal supporters in the cranes. Because it's behind closed doors, they've hired those.
Fantastic.
For a panoramic view of the Speedway of Nations final.
Oh, well, that's taking initiative, isn't it?
Well,
fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Here we go.
Loyalty for you. Yep, heat number 1, and we're away. First time of action, a long way into that first turn. Oh, and Bartosz Zmarzlik just seemed to struggle a little bit, and here comes Bewley as Zmarzlik looks over his shoulder, but he finds the British rider Dan Bewley, the brilliant youngster, all over him. Oh, and Zmarzlik almost loses it, and Bewley has gone to the front. Dan Bewley goes to the front, but of course this would mean that Poland would win this race by 5 points to 4.
Still,
but it's very choppy out there, Kel.
It is indeed. Wozniak looked very cautious on the opening lap. Bewley's done a brilliant job to hit the front, fair play to him, but Bartosz Zmarzlik now comes back through to repay the compliment, and the Poles are now on a 6-3 as it stands, with the world champion hitting the front. Great effort from Bewley, considering he's all on his own. He's done a good job here with Wozniak back in third place, but the world champion showing some class here. Conditions not ideal.
We've got ourselves a Speedway meeting, though, and we've seen passing in the first race of the night.
We have indeed.
Bartosz Zmarzlik looking over his shoulder, the world individual champion, twice over now, of course. He's going to take the checkered flag for the first race of the night. And well done, Dan Bewley. We know that he's been in a good bit of form, scored well for Wrocław recently, and the Bellevue youngster has done really well there. for Great Britain. Good speedway in the opening race of the night. Hopefully we'll get through with no problems, no more rain. That's important. We need no more rain in Lublin tonight so we can get through the rest of the evening. And
good effort
hands
there
up
from
if you're
Bewley.
putting a programme in and you've put 3-1-0-2.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of you have. But a 6-3 to the poles, and they start well. They needed to, because Bewley was really stunning on the opening lap. These conditions will be a leveller tonight. And you've got to believe that you can take an opportunity. And for Britain, that was far from disastrous, coming away with 3 points there. For a moment, it looked like it was going to be 4. We see it again, and the tapes are up. And world champion on the inside, Bartosz Szmarty, just taking it a little bit cautious there in the first corner. Bewley nicely between the two Polish riders. They come out of the first corner, and fair play to him. He really attacked it. And Bartosz just a little bit out of shape there. I don't think he was enjoying it at all on the opening lap, Bartosz Szmartlik. Don't think his heart was quite in it, but I'll tell you what, Bewley's was.
Oh.
And he comes charging round there. Bartosz just taking a bit of a look over, but he sort of settled down, the world champion, and then got the better of Dan Bewley and slipped back through to hit the front to pick up the 6-3. But all credit to the Brit there. That was a good effort from Bewley.
What I like about what Dan Bewley's doing here is that he suffered injuries at Workington a couple of years ago, which could have finished a rider. They were serious, multiple injuries. And Dan Bewley has done brilliantly, firstly to bounce back from that, and now to go on and represent his country as we build up to Heat 2. The world champions, Sayfutdinov and Laguta, go up against Václav Milik and Edward Krčmar for the Czech Republic here. A reminder, 4 points for a win, 3 for second, 2 for third, and nothing for finishing last. It's a bitterly cold night in Lublin, it has to be said. And the riders will,
well,
they're going to have to cope with the freezing temperatures as well.
Well, get a couple of heats under your belt and
Yeah.
get the blood pumping, and all of a sudden you'll feel an awful lot better.
You don't want a long gap between your races.
No, you do not, no. You'll see guys running around the pits, I suspect, but Sayfutdinov and Laguta did not do the warm-up. They didn't fancy that at all. They left that to their under-21 rider. Let's see how the world champions get on in their opening ride here.
Yep, heat number 2. Champions for the last 2 years. Oh, and a very nervy, edgy start there again, and it's a good start for Václav Milik in the white helmet colour. Charging through now, Emil Sayfutdinov. Laguta's joined him as well.
Wow.
That made it look very, very easy, the Russian boys there. Milik is third here right now, but Sayfutdinov is the man in the red helmet colour. Will he look back and team ride Laguta? Milik probably can't get there, and the Russians are looking set fair in the second race of the night.
Well, poetry in motion as they came out of the first corner, and normal service resumed here because Milik had made the start but didn't get out of the first turn. Got to say, Sayfutdinov looks more comfortable than Laguta. Laguta looks a little bit uncomfortable, in truth, in second place, but Milik is back in third, not really putting them under too much pressure, and Krčmar is out of the picture. But for the Russians, the world champions, where they're going to pick up 7 big points here, and the ideal starts. You've got to say the Czech Republic probably the weaker team on show this evening, but the Russians are taking full advantage here.
Yeah, they're making it look easy here now, aren't they? They are absolutely tearing apart heat number 2. A reminder, it's the top scoring duo after 21 races who go straight through to the final in this world final. The world pairs, or the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations. The top scoring duo goes straight through to the final.
Yeah.
And there's a last chance race off, second v third, after 21 heats to see who joins them in the final. That's how the format works tonight in this one-off event. Sayfutdinov and Laguta, 7 points over Milik and Krčmar. Krčmar well off the pace there, out of contention.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough night for him, that's for sure. But what a start for the Russian duo, the reigning world champions.
Yeah, and it was all about the exit to the first corner, because Václav Milik in gate 2 was a bit of a nervy start there. He was twitching away, but Laguta on the inside doesn't quite manage to get there. But he runs just sort of mid-track and just finds himself in no man's land. No banking here, track's almost flat. And that's not great, actually. A bit of banking always helps out. You can see the guys bouncing around going into turn 3. The track has chopped up there quite quickly. Laguta looked uncomfortable at times, in truth, in second place. This man looked more confident on the bike and rode nicely out in front. But nonetheless, they'll be chuffed to bits to get off to a good start. And 7 very valuable points, because it's only going to get more difficult and more competitive as the night goes on. But for that man, a proud Russian, and they've won 2 World Speedway of Nations already, the World Pairs Championship.
Yes, and hopefully we won't have any more rain coming in.
Well, we can't afford to,
no.
because if it rains on top of that, it will be very greasy indeed. I would think that conditions could deteriorate quite quickly.
Lindgren and Berntsen up against Doyle and Frick. This is a tasty heat number 3. Should say there's varying weather forecast. It's been chopping and changing all day.
Yeah, very unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's just good that we are able to go racing. This is heat number 3, and it is a good race indeed. A quality lineup, Kelv, and
Yeah.
Jason Doyle and Max Frick. I know you've been saying through the week you fancied these 2 boys with Jamin Lindsay at reserve as well. You fancied Team Australia.
Yeah, they look at a great balance to the team, and they're all in good form. But I've said it more than once already, but these conditions, things can change, because it's a leveler. It's not normal at all. It's so cold, track's tricky. The track's not going to be easy to overtake on, that's for sure. And we're going to need to make some good starts. But Doyley's been in good form. He's been making some great starts of late.
He has indeed. So which way will this one go? Heat number 3 it is, and Doyle's made a good start off gate 2, and he's joined by Max Frick as well.
Yep.
A reminder, of course, Max Frick is a Grand Prix winner now. Doyle holds the inside line. Now, that was very, very close to both wheels going over the white line down that back straight. Looks over his shoulder, trying to do a bit of team riding, but it's choppy waters, almost literally, on the inside line. And Lindgren is going to try really hard here, but his visibility cannot be helped by the rain, leaving really slushy conditions
I
here.
think this is a clear indication of how conditions are difficult out there. Lindgren is working really hard. Frick has hit the front now. Doyle has allowed him to go, but Doyle actually, as a consequence, has lost his momentum. And Freddie Lindgren, fair play to him, he's working hard with Berntsen out the back. At this stage, this is a very big 7 points for the Australians. But look at Lindgren round the outside, giving it absolutely everything. Doyle's going to have to really push hard on this last lap.
Frick needs to slow down. Frick needs to slow down and shepherd him. No, there's no team riding here. There's no team riding from Australia. That has allowed Freddie Lindgren through to split the Australian duo. Am I being a bit harsh there, Kelv?
Yes, because conditions are so difficult.
Okay.
If they'd slowed it down, I think Freddie Lindgren would have come through to beat both of them, in truth.
I apologise to Max Frick.
But Frick was allowed through early doors, but conditions are not ideal. Doyle was struggling. Fair play to Lindgren, he gave it everything, but I think if Frick had slowed down as well, you could have seen Lindgren coming through on both of them. Difficult conditions.
Okay, right, so good result for Australia. Max Frick and Jason Doyle over Freddie Lindgren, Berntsen at the back. 6 points to Australia and 3 to Sweden. So that's the way it shaped up for heat number 3, and 6 of the nations have now had 1 outing each.
Smashing start from Jason Doyle, and there was team riding here earlier on, because Doyley's round the inside, has a good long look at Frick and allows him to hit the front. But once Frick does hit the front, he seems to have speed, and Jason Doyle seems to lose his momentum. And that man back in 3rd place, I tell you what, this is a tremendous effort here from Freddie Lindgren.
Brilliant.
Doyle gets out of shape. But the writing was on the wall before there, and I just fancy that if Frick had slowed down to help Jason here...
Oh, he's in trouble there, Doyley.
Oh, yeah, he's all out of shape there. It might well have been that Freddie Lindgren may have passed them both. We'll never know. We'll never know. But still, 6 points to the Australians, a strong start for them. And as I say, conditions are tricky, difficult. You're going to have to really dig in here and show some great character if you want to be a world champion tonight.
There's the man I owe an apology to, but evidently Max Frick being a little bit too hard.
Well, maybe, but as I say, difficult when it's far from ideal out there.
Yes, so here we go with heat number 4 now. It's Denmark against Poland in the 4th race of the night. And let's just confirm the lineup for you then, with Leon Madsen and Anders Thompson for Denmark, and Bartosz Marslik and Simon Wozniak.
Well, this is where the format actually benefits the Poles, because they've already had a ride, and you've got to believe that with Madsen and Thompson coming out for their first ride, they will be at some disadvantage. Hans Nielsen, of course, we wish him the very best. There's a question mark over whether he has COVID-19 or not. Yeah, here we go.
We wish him well, Hans Nielsen. All the very best, as you say, Kelv. Heat number 4 it is, and away they go. A little bit of a jump at the start, but into the first turn. It's very, very tight, and it's a good swoop from Szymon Wozniak around the outside here. Bartosz Zmarzlik is in second place right now, and third in blue is Anders Thompson. So Poland kicking on here, making heat number 4 look quite simple at this stage. Is there any way back for Denmark? Anders Thompson is third, and Leon Madsen at the back.
Well, that was a fabulous move from the outside. Wozniak was a little disappointing in his opening ride, but I tell you what, he's coming good here. Terrific stuff from him up against the Danes, who would have been at a disadvantage here. This is their opening ride in difficult conditions, but nonetheless, the Poles have pounced, and Bartosz Zmarzlik, and this man, who would have been under pressure. A lot of talk about the fact that Janowski is not in the team this evening. Big 7 points on the cards here for the Poles. They're pulling away. Madsen out the back, not enjoying it.
Looking like 13 points from 2 rides for Poland, who are well clear here. There's no denying Szymon Wozniak and Bartosz Zmarzlik in heat number 4. Good ride from the Polish duo, and they're already in a really strong position, Kelv.
They are indeed. They stamped their authority on their second outing tonight, and there's no doubt that Wozniak, who was a little disappointing, maybe a tweak to the bike after the first race, they come in and they look like they have enjoyed that one. But for Leon Madsen, that was a disappointing ride there for the #1 Dane, with Anders Thompson coming in third place. But 7 points to the Poles. They'll be delighted.
Yeah, Wozniak very, very impressive there with the way he came around the outside. That was really what struck me. And it has to be said that the Danes, Leon Madsen, looked very nervous on the inside. He was almost moving. There, look.
Yeah, well, he was fortunate there, because I'll tell you what, this is a great effort from the outside. Tight going into the first corner, and there's no question that it could have been tricky for Bartosz Zmarzlik here, because he missed the start, and here we see.
Yep, good stuff here from the Polish boys. Anders Thompson battling away for Denmark in third place there. He's had a good run, hasn't he, Anders Thompson? And looking forward to a big year.
He had a couple of reasonable Grand Prix for Gorzów, but
yeah, we're going straight to Heat 5, by the way. There normally would be a track grade here, but we are cracking on.
I would think that's because there's weather coming.
There is rain predicted, yes.
And they want to get as many races as they can. The result will be declared after Heat 14. So as soon as we can get to that, the better, of course. But Heat number 5, we are hearing that we could be pushing on straight away to Heat number 8.
So we're skipping a short break here.
Yes.
We're just going to go through to Heat 8 at least, in the hope that we can actually get a result tonight, because there are concerns about the weather. It's just spitting at the moment. It's that fine rain that soaks you through, I'm told.
Well, that's what Peter Kay told us, wasn't it? Yeah. And
everybody in.
Yep, it's spitting. So anyway, here we go. Robert Lambert out here. Now he needs to behave at the start. This is a big race, because the world champions are out, and they started in fine style. Robert Lambert is more than capable of taking on Sayfutdinov and Laguta. We've got Dan Bewley, who had a decent opening ride, and he's out here, so we look forward to see what he can do.
Busy week for Dan, because he rides here tonight, and then he's at Berwick on Wednesday night in the UK. It's the British Under-21 final at Berwick, so that'll be a great night. And then Thursday, he's back at his home track Bellevue for the Peter Craven Memorial. Behind closed doors, but it is available to watch. But Dan Bewley will be there at Bellevue on Thursday night. So a busy week for Dan. He'll enjoy that. Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley up against Emil Sayfutdinov and Artem Laguta. You could not wish for two tougher first two races for the Great Britain boys, Kelv.
No, well, they've missed out on last night, effectively, haven't they? Because they would have been more up to speed. The two new British team managers there, Simon Stead and Oliver Allen, coming in as a duo. And they'll be keeping their fingers crossed that this time their top man will behave on the start. They need him. Here we go, settling down up against the world champions, as you say. A tough task here early on in the meeting, but they've got gates 1 and 3. That gives them half a chance.
Let's see. what can happen here. Can Lambert get away for Great Britain? Tapes rise, and the Russians have made an absolutely jet-propelled start. Laguta in yellow, Sayfutdinov in white. It's Robert Lambert in red, and look how clear the Russian boys are already. Kicking on here, looking like a 7-2 right now. Bewley's at the back, but is there any stopping Emil Sayfutdinov and Artem Laguta, who are kicking on here now?
They are indeed. They were absolutely jet-propelled. I thought gates 1 and 3 may have helped the Brits there, but it didn't prove to be the case. Gates 2 and 4, the Russians absolutely flew out of the gates. Possibly Lambert just missing out on that first ride, and they'll make a few tweaks to the bike. But this time Bewley is outpaced and is at the back. But this is going to be another maximum score, barring any mishaps here. The Russians look like they're going to move on to 14 points. And what a start for the world champions. They're looking for 3 on the bounce here. 3 gold medals.
Emil Sayfutdinov absolutely flying here. Artem Laguta second, and they're making it look very easy here. Robert Lambert struggling to land a blow. Dan Bewley is at the back. Oh, Sayfutdinov almost loses control of the bike.
Oh, I said any mishaps.
Goodness me.
Oh, yeah, his heart was in his mouth there.
Slipping and sliding, Emil.
Yeah, the track just caught him out, but nonetheless, the 7 points are in the bag. Disappointment for the Brits there, because I fancied Robert Lambert might be able to get involved, but the Russians just absolutely jet-propelled away from the tapes and dominating from then on.
Absolutely. So Emil Sayfutdinov and Artem Laguta, first and second, 7 points to Great Britain's 2, but heart in mouth for Emil Sayfutdinov. There we see the progressive standings. Russia 14, Poland 13. The teams below them do have heats in hand, apart from Great Britain. So it's game on, and Russia looked really impressive here.
Yeah, they did the hard yards here. It's going to be about starts tonight, and if they keep this up, they'll be difficult to beat, because both of them absolutely fabulous, and they ride so nicely together. There's an understanding between these 2 riders that we've seen demonstrated over the previous 2 years, and that's what's taken them to 2 gold medals in this particular competition. A little bit disappointing here for the Brits. They probably had hopefuls. Dan Bewley's start was woeful. Look how far behind he was going into the first corner. He's going to have to up his game if he's going to compete at this level, because that was a poor start from young Dan after an encouraging opening ride. But for Robert Lambert, he'll be frustrated after the start of the night.
Oh.
Here we see Emil just out of shape, and there it's all slippy and slidey out there. He was a touch fortunate with that, Nige.
Yeah, unexpected for Emil, but thankfully he got it back under control. Who's he talking to?
Mum, I'm busy at the moment. I'll give you a shout in a couple of hours.
Probably ringing someone to say, how did that look on TV? How did the replay show look?
Right. Yeah, that was a YouTube moment.
Yeah, heat number 6. Yeah, Václav Milik and Edward Krčmar for the Czech Republic, and Freddie Lindgren and Oliver Berntsson for the Swede. 2 points for the Czech Republic and 3 for Sweden so far. And it's not easy out there. Let's give full credit to these guys.
No, it's not. It's difficult. It's cold. It's greasy. It's a little choppy as well. And there's no question that you're seeing riders. I tell you what, Freddie Lindgren was very impressive up against the Australians in the first outing. He showed great resolve, and he pushed on really hard. And they're pushing on. They're going to try and get as many races in as they possibly can before the weather returns. Here we go, settling down for heat number 6.
Yeah, there's rain around, that's for sure. And this is heat number 6, and it's a fine start for Milik and Krčmar, but watch out for the Swedes. Milik right now is Václav Milik riding well. Milik really did a great job there as Lindgren now chases.
He didn't do his teammate any favours at all, Nige. He just pushed him wide. He didn't look for him at all.
Oh, look at this.
Tell you what, he's roughing up there going into the first corner now. Freddie Lindgren hunting him down. Milik sharp away from the tapes. Needs to win this race, because otherwise his teammate's going to be quite unhappy with him, although his teammate has pulled up on the infield. Not quite sure why that was.
It's a step too far for Krčmar tonight.
It is indeed. And Milik out in front, riding strongly here, Nige, bouncing back after a disappointing opening ride.
Literally bouncing.
Literally bouncing.
Absolutely. Yeah, he got the lead, kicking on, but this is going to be a race win for Sweden, because remember, it's 4 points for a win, but 5 points for second and third.
Yeah, good point.
Sweden are going to make a 5-4 race victory here in heat number 6 in Lublin. And it's a good ride from Milik in the end. I take on point totally that didn't do his partner any favours there, Kelv, but Krčmar is really, really finding it hard tonight. It's,
yeah, he got pushed wide.
It's one step too far.
Yeah, got pushed wide. Milik didn't really appreciate that his teammate was there, but he hit the front, and fair play to him. He then won the race, but they could have maybe have picked up a few more points. But as I say, these conditions are not really conducive for classic team riding as we know it. It's going to be the battle of well, there's a certain amount of survival out there this evening.
Yeah, a reminder, we need to get to heat 14 to get a result if the rain does come in.
You see it now, you see Milik, he pulls across there and he pushes his teammate quite wide there, and as a consequence of that, yeah, he's unhappy.
Yeah, he's not happy at all.
He's not happy at all.
There was me saying what a great job Milik's done.
Well, yeah, and I did try to cut in. He's pushed him very wide, and as a consequence, young Krčmar is quite unhappy. I think there may be a word or two. I think the only redeeming part of this is that Milik actually goes on to win the race, but you can see the bikes bouncing around, and the track surface is quite bumpy. And the boys are doing a good job because it's far from easy.
Yep, so it is 5 points for Sweden with Lindgren and Berntsson, and 4 points for the Czech Republic with a win for Milik. And that means that Sweden move on to 8 points, but Australia, just behind them, have got a race in hand with Jason Doyle and Max Fricke. They're pressing on. We're going straight through to heat 7 now, and it's Australia against Denmark. Can Madsen bounce back from his first race disappointment?
I tell you what, these conditions are not ideal for Leon. Leon Madsen is terrific when the track is quite slick and fast. It's not that this evening, so I sense that's why he was nervous on the start line in his first race, and he looked uncomfortable at the back. He needs to hit the front if he's going to really feel comfortable and get some confidence tonight. Doyle and Fricke, well, they just dropped a couple of points, or 1 point, but Fricke and Doyle were pretty strong in their opening ride.
Doyle and Fricke up against Madsen and Thompson. Red and blue for the Danes here. White is Jason Doyle, yellow is Max Fricke. This is a good lineup in ordinary circumstances, although there's nothing ordinary about 2020 full stop.
No,
but,
it's all the new norm.
Don't know whether you've noticed.
No. Yeah, funny. Well, what's going on?
Where is everyone?
But Max Fricke looked exactly, where is everybody? Max Fricke looking very Henrik Müller, the team manager for Denmark, looking hoping for better this time.
Oh, Doyle! Goodness gracious me.
And again, you ask, we saw him do this in the Grand Prix in Prague, and it just begs the question, why? No movement from the rider on the inside either.
Doyley.
So that's a blow for the Australians. And tonight, you can really ill afford to be throwing points away. What a shame.
Yep, that's the second rider tonight to do that after Robert Lambert for Great Britain.
Well, the pressure is now on Fricke to try and win the race, to salvage the 4 points, and to keep the damage to a minimum. But it is an opportunity now for the Danes to try and bounce back from a disappointing opening race. That is quite tough in these conditions when you're coming up against a team that's already raced and it's your first race. Heat 4 with this format. I do have a little bit of sympathy for the Danes. Is the rain coming?
Yeah.
That's a shame. So there is a sense of urgency here. Now we've started.
Come on, boys, get us through to heat 14. Come on.
That's what we want, of course. But
yeah, you can see, can't you, Kelv? It looks like it's setting in now. Yeah.
Max Fricke here. He will go from the outside gate. Madsen there. Probably not entirely comfortable in these conditions. And Anders Thompson also.
Do we now, here's a decision to make, Kelv, because the rain's coming down now. Do we do anything with the track in terms of grading it? Do we just leave it and hope that we get through to heat 14 as we look at the lineup for...
if you start going on the track now, you're only delaying it to allow more rain to come down.
Madsen and Thompson up against Fricke then. Doyle excluded. So you just leave the track and try and get through to heat 14 and get a result? Or do we? We try and come back tomorrow?
Yeah, I think now we've started, I think every effort will be made to try and get a result this evening. It's going to be riders' reactions coming in. If conditions deteriorate very quickly and it becomes unsafe, then of course we have to stop racing. But a warning for Jason Doyle, well, that's obvious because he charged through the tapes. Pressure on Fricke here on the outside. Conditions not improving. if anything going the other way. Tough out there tonight.
Yep, here we go then. The sole Australian is Max Frick in the yellow helmet colour. Can he get there? Madsen tries to take him wide, and they just about managed to stay on going out of that second turn with the slippery conditions on the outside. This is better from Leon Madsen.
Much better. Big improvement from Madsen. He was hard in the first corner. He needed to be because Frick was right there. But I tell you what, he meant business and he held his own in the first corner and he's got himself to the front. Should win from there. Thompson back. This is 6 points on the cards for the Danes. And Leon Madsen, well, he looks like a completely different rider. Now he's hit the front. Looks very uncomfortable and unhappy when he was behind. Frick there, just bouncing around. It's going to be so difficult to make inroads now on. But Madsen looking good.
Just a reminder that if we do go the distance tonight, after 21 races, Madsen looked a little bit uncomfortable there. After 21 races, the top scoring nation goes straight through to the final, and the second and third will race off in a last chance race off. The winner of that will meet the top scorers in the grand final. One race to decide the world champions. That's if we get that far. But there we are.
Good ride from
Anders Thompson has pulled up at the back, and he's just going to try and nurse his way round to try and get 2 points on the board. He's got to push it round. He has to push it round here now to get 2 points on the board for Denmark.
Yeah, well, that'll get the blood pumping, won't it?
Keep him warm.
Keep him warm. Obviously not ideal with some sort of mechanical issue late on in the race. Much improved performance from Leon Madsen there. Disappointment for the Australians. You've got to believe that that tape touching from Jason Doyle has hurt them there, because with the Danes bouncing back after a disappointing opening ride, that was a missed opportunity from Australia. But
well done, Anders.
Anders there makes it to the line, picks up his 2 points, very valuable points as well.
Start Marshall saying well done, good effort. Now let's get the next 4 riders out quick. Get off the track, Anders.
Yeah, on your way, please. On your way.
Heat 7 then. It's 6 points to Denmark and 3 points to Australia, with Doyle excluded, of course. And right now, Russia and Poland dominating. It could be a 2-horse race to decide who goes straight through to the final, if we can get that far, of course.
Much improvement here. As I said before, a missed opportunity for the Australians, because Leon Madsen making a much better start, pushing Frick wide, and that's where all the hard work was done, really. Leon Madsen was absolutely determined here because Frick was right there, but Leon pushes him and eases him over and then hits the front. Had a couple of little moments there with it bike bouncing around. It happened to him a couple of times, but he rode much more resolve in that race, and it paid dividends. But the world champions are out here once again. And we've got the top 2 teams going head-to-head. This should be quite a clash.
I hope so, yeah. Let's hope that we see some good speedway here in heat number 8. Credit all the riders again, have to say that.
Not easy. Not
easy in these conditions. Smarslik red, Wozniak blue, Sayfutdinov in the white helmet for Russia, and Laguta in yellow. Right now, Laguta and Sayfutdinov unbeaten on 14 points, plays 13 points Russia.
Yeah.
Quite a race.
Yeah, quite a race indeed. Wouldn't be a surprise at all to see these two ride. Oh, the rain's coming down hard.
And if we have to call it at Heat 14, races like this could decide the world champions, Kelv.
You're absolutely right, Nigel. So this all of a sudden takes on extra significance. Heat number 8, what a race.
Pressure on here. Who is going to get there first? It's a great start from Bartosz Smarslik and Szymon Wozniak. Here comes Sayfutdinov through the middle. Now, what can Laguta do? Laguta at the back, but if he passes the third place rider, then Russia would win the race. The lead is with Bartosz Smarslik, the world individual champion. Sayfutdinov is second. Third in blue is Wozniak. He has to keep Laguta at the back here. Laguta comes around the outside. Russia are leading the race 5-4 as things stand.
Well, that's a great effort from Laguta, because he was out-battled there on the opening lap. Wozniak once again just being, well, he won last time out, but conditions have got the better of him there. But that's a great effort from Russia. They can leave Bartosz Smarslik alone, because they know the 5 points they're going to gain from second to third will beat the race win of the world champion out in front. Russia once again doing the business in the Speedway of Nations.
And Russia are going to go 2 points clear of the Polish side here. And this is a good ride. Smarslik doing his job. but the fact that Laguta has come through could be a massive result for Russia. And I know you're probably sick of me mentioning it, but if we have to call it at Heat 14, then we decide the world champions by the standings after 14 heats.
Yeah.
And that race could be a World Cup winning ride for the Russian boys. Hoping that that's not the case and we go all the way through, of course. But I just think it's a point worth making. Smarslik the winner.
What was your point again?
Yeah, shut up. Sayfutdinov second, Laguta third. And now we see Russia on 19, Poland on 17. We've had 8 races of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations.
Well, this is a great race from Laguta, really. He was the star performer. Of course, the world champion wins the race. You can't devalue that too much. But with this format, second and third places being so vital, Laguta is not particularly renowned for his overtaking ability. He's more of a starter and hitting the front, and these conditions really are not really up his alley, but he has dug deep here and shown great results.
Great racing, Kel.
Yeah, he's really raced very well indeed. Sayfutdinov coming through into second place early doors, but and then Bartosz Smarslik, they leave him alone, but this is the move. We wasn't out there in no man's land, and Laguta makes that work early in the race, and fair play to him. He comes through and joins his compatriot and does a terrific job. And as I say, 5 points beats 4, and the two boys out in front, they congratulate each other, but Russia will be the happier of the two teams right now.
And it does look, Kelv, as though your record as the last captain, the last British captain to win a World Cup, will continue here this evening, a record that I know you're proud of, but at the same time, you'd rather see it erased from the record books in terms
I do believe if we'd been in Manchester with a Ty Woofenden and Lambert and Dan Bewley at reserve, I think we would have had a very good chance.
I'm sure you'll be talking about it in your new book. We had to plug that, didn't we? Right, Václav Milik and Petr Šlupak for the Czech Republic here, the under-21 reserve coming in, and Robert Lambert and Drew Kemp keeps his place here in the lineup for heat number 9, so a World Championship debut for Drew Kemp.
Yeah, well, they have to have a ride, and the opportunity against the Czech Republic.
Yeah, he was lined up to ride for Ipswich Witches this year, his local club. I know he's represented Mildenhall with great pride as well. What can Great Britain do here? Well, it's a good start for Drew Kemp in the yellow helmet colour. He's looking over his shoulder for Robert Lambert. Great Britain are on a 7-2, not a 5-1. They're on a 7-2 here, and what a dream debut this would be for Drew Kemp, the talented teenager in the yellow helmet colour. Will Lambert look over his shoulders and try and shepherd him through? You can be sure.
Are you sure it's Drew Kemp? I'm not sure. It's got number 3 on his back, and I think
Bewley,
that's Bewley.
Bewley, yeah.
I think Bewley made a fantastic start. It is Dan Bewley. It is Dan Bewley. So they haven't. So they resisted the opportunity to use Kemp here, but it's paid dividends because they're going to pick up 7 big points here. With Bewley actually making an absolutely atrocious start in his previous ride, and he made an absolute stormer this time, so he is a bit hit and miss. But out in front, massive 7 points on the board here for Great Britain.
Yes, and it is the Drew Kemp lookalike Dan Bewley in second spot as they head into the latter stages here. And it's Robert Lambert looking over his shoulder who helps home Dan Bewley for a 7-2 for Great Britain in heat number 9. Brilliant stuff from Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley, who kept Drew Kemp out of that race.
Who does look remarkably like.
Well, they all wear the same team race suits.
Yeah, no, it's difficult, but no, it's.
And they're caked in shale.
What a start from Bewley.
I'm trying to find excuse after excuse.
Yeah, keep turning the pages. I think there's a few more to go. But Bewley was in the race, and he won it with Lambert. Brilliant.
And Václav Milik in third place.
Okay.
12 points, Great Britain. That puts them in the third place, which would put them in contention for a last chance race-off, of course. But Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley, great work, boys.
Oh, they bounced back big time there. Up against one of the weaker sides, but you've got to take your opportunity. Look at this from Bewley. Absolutely flew out of gate 2. And Robert Lambert was there alongside him. He has a good look for him. He does a great job, actually, there. Allows his teammate to come through. And then from that moment on, they dominate the 4 laps because Václav Milik really doesn't threaten too much. As I say, all the work was done at the early part of the race. and from that moment on, and that will lift the spirits in the camp, because they've had a difficult start to the night with an exclusion and so forth, but this time out the maximum score, and they rocket up the chance into third place at this stage.
Well done, Robert Lambert, European champion, of course, has had a great year. You all know about Drew Kemp now as well, because I told you all about him when Dan Bewley was riding there. And we build up to heat number 10 here, and the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations final, a one-off final. It's Sweden against Denmark here now, Scandinavian rivalry. And Denmark bring in their under-21 Marcus Berkemose in the yellow helmet, according to the graphic. But I'll check it out when I see it.
Well, Berkemose has just won the under-21 European Championship,
yes.
And he's a youngster, he's a teenager, and a rider they obviously have high hopes for. Leon Madsen much improved last time, so it'd be interesting to see how the youngster gets on here.
Yes.
Massive step up for youngsters. I'm not sure I'm in full agreement that under-21 riders need to be here, but they are. Let's see how they get on.
Yep, here we go. This is heat number 10.
Berntsen.
Yep, and away from the start then, it is Freddie Lindgren in the red helmet colour, charging through then for Denmark. Berkemose in the yellow helmet colour. Madsen is in white, and Berntsen is at the back right now for Sweden. So Freddie Lindgren leading the race, but Denmark are winning the race by 5 points to 4 as things stand right now.
Yeah, well, they're certainly going to score more points. Freddie Lindgren will win the race, but the second and third will pick up a better total on the point score. Certainly Berntsen was nervous on the start there and jumped the start, but penalised himself. Lindgren's going to win comfortably. Conditions have deteriorated. Track is chopping up, it's drizzling, so Freddie's away. He's going to pick up 4 points. But for Denmark, I tell you what, this is an encouraging ride once again, particularly from their under-21 rider. He's going to pick up 3 points. A little bit untidy there, but the track's difficult. A lap to go. Let's hope he can stay on.
Yeah, absolutely. Berkemose then holding midline there and out wide, coming out of the turn in the last lap. Freddie Lindgren into that turn. Super stylish rider now, Freddie. The real deal when it comes to a world title contender. He wins that race, but Denmark get more points because of their second and third. A 5-4 win on that occasion for Denmark in heat number 10. Question, Kelv.
Yes, mate.
Is Freddie Lindgren more over the handlebars than usual with his racing style?
Tonight, yes, because of the conditions. His bike setup is quite aggressive, and as a consequence, he needs to get right up the front to make sure he keeps control of the bike. Good riding from Lindgren.
Yep, so here's how it looks. Sweden are on 12, a point behind Denmark now. Sweden level with Great Britain on the 12-point mark, and all nations bar Australia have now had 3 outings. We've had 10 heats of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations final. It is looking like a 2-horse battle. Yeah.
Berntsen was lucky there. He
He
punished himself. That's why Leotinsky, the referee, allowed the race to continue, and he doesn't get amongst the points. Great. Certainly Berkemose has ridden nicely here, the youngster. He'll be delighted with his debut on the big scene. Full of confidence, of course, after winning the European Under-21 Championship. He chops across his more experienced teammate here, and Leon Madsen. Madsen, I sense, just was quite happy to look after his teammate and settle for the third place, because he knew that they were going to score 5 points. And it didn't matter how far Freddie Lindgren was out in front. You're right about Freddie, though. He is right over the front. His bike is always driving hard and quite aggressive, and he's having to hang on to it because it's quite choppy out there.
Yep, so heat number 11 is coming up here.
I don't know if we've got a change here. Maybe Lidzy's coming in.
World Under-21 champion. I'm having to double check every time now. Lidsey in for Doyle.
Okay.
Well.
Interesting.
So there you go. And Mark Lemon makes his move.
That's quite a big move too against the Poles.
11, yeah. Against Smarslik and Wozniak, who are in white and yellow. We are hearing that we are racing on to heat 14 before any track grading or any further discussions are made to get us through to a conclusion tonight.
Yeah.
So, some good decision-making, I think, Kelv.
Oh, absolutely right. If we stop and start talking about things and it all gets messy, now everybody's dirty and, you know, we've got going, You know, if we can get a result at this time of year, the weather's turning against us.
Yep, here we go. Heat number 11 it is then. And it's a good start from Zmarzlik in the white helmet colour. Jamin Lydzi out reserve has gone to the back here. He's been passed by Szymon Wozniak. Second place right now is Max Frick. Zmarzlik, Frick and Wozniak for Poland right now. That would give them the 6-point mark, and 3 points for Australia. It'd be a 6-3, remember, in this scoring format, of course. And Jamin Lydzi finding it a little bit tough here right now.
Yeah, not easy coming at this stage, and particularly up against a strong side like Poland as well. Cold, you're standing in the pitch, you're watching on. Track looks tricky, difficult to wait a long period of time for your ride. But Bartosz Zmarzlik's going to win quite comfortably. He's got the bike just about under control. Got to say, Frick's doing well for the Aussies again, full of confidence. Yeah. He's doing a good job, but 6 big points. Poland looking good, but will they regret dropping points to Russia last time out? Russia are in the driving seat here.
I think we'll find out more when we get to Heat 14 and see where we're at with it all.
Sure.
To be honest, Kel. But it's a good ride from Bartosz Zmarzlik. It's a 6-3 to the Poles, the host nation, of course. And World Championship Speedway and the European Championship this year and the Speedway of Nations now, all in Poland, apart from the Czech Republic Grand Prix, of course. But under the circumstances this year, very welcome that we've got these tournaments away. 6 points to Poland, 3 to Australia. And after 11 races now, we can confirm that Poland are on 23, but Russia have got a race in hand, 4 behind. Denmark 13, and Sweden and Australia and Great Britain all on 12.
Indeed, so bronze at the moment is up for grabs for many of those 4 teams, so plenty to race for. We see this race again. Jamin Lydzi doesn't make a good start, the world champion does. He hits the front, Zmarzlik nicely. Frick's there in second. Wozniak's a bit untidy here, but he hangs on to third place, and that's a handy 6 points for Poland after dropping a few last time out. But to bounce back against Australia, Australia a fancied team. I fancied them big time, but it haven't quite clicked tonight. That's certainly Jason Dorr. That was a big decision by Mark Lemon to bring in the under-21 rider against Poland, but maybe he fancied that he needed to do it earlier rather than later. But as I say, it's cold, you're hanging around, you need to get a ride under your belt. But for Lydzi, that wasn't the ideal ride. But for that man, well, what a year he has had. Retaining your World Championship in the Grand Prix format is not easy. There's only 3 men that have done it, and he's one of them.
First Polish rider to win more than one world individual title as well, of course.
Yeah.
Bartosz Zmarzlik just a fortnight ago in Torun. Another memorable night.
It was.
Now the Brits are out again here. Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley up against Freddie Lindgren and Oliver Bernsen. So it's England, or Great Britain, I do apologise. Great Britain against Sweden here. Dan Bewley from Cumbria, of course. Rode for his local club, Workington Comets. Sadly no longer around at this moment, but let's hope that'll change in the future.
Robert from Norfolk, of course.
Yes,
and so
Kings Lynn, his local club.
Exactly, 7 points last time, and they were in the shout for a medal here. Certainly, Freddie Lindgren is doing all the work so far for the Swedes, and they'll need to try and work together a little bit better as a pair if they want to pick up a medal this evening. But for Robert Lambert, although they had a disastrous start tonight, Great Britain, with these conditions, well, there's everything to race for here, so they're not out of it. A big start here from the Brits, who knows?
Yes, heat number 12 it is then. Big race coming up right now. It's a good start from Lindgren in white. Oh, Lambert goes square in that first turn, and coming through now is Oliver Bernsen for Sweden. And Lambert has to get off the gas down the back straight. And it's Dan Bewley at the back here. This is a tough race for Great Britain, as Lambert will try the inside run, but Lindgren has the lead quite comfortably. Bernsen second, Lambert third.
Interesting to see if Freddie does look for his teammate here. Oh, Bewley's gone down. That's a shame for him. We may see a red light. Well, yes, we will. He's gone down at the back. Conditions just getting better of Bewley there, and he bailed out. Good first corner from Bernsen. Bernsen will be frustrated with that. He hasn't been at the races so far, and finally gets himself into a good position, and the red lights are coming on. Bewley fell on his own. He was at the back, so he'll be out of the rerun. And I'm sure he's okay. Yeah, he's just getting up. more his pride being hurt, I think. That's a shame, because that was an opportunity, that race. Well, maybe not.
Well, let's hope he's going to be okay.
Well,
Dan Bewley.
He's taking his time.
Didn't quite see what happened properly.
It just runs in there and goes under the air fence. He just runs in wide. It's choppy, it's grippy, and then the bike lets go, and slightly uncomfortable for Dan.
As I say, those were dreadful injuries a couple of years ago at Workington.
Yeah,
multiple serious broken bones.
Well, there's nothing of him as well. You know, he's very slight, and it is something he'll need to work on to strengthen up over the upcoming years. Time on his side, of course, because he's only 21, but a disappointing moment for him. Russia looking on, rain coming down. Any delays tonight are going to be frustrating for all concerned. And
I'm pretty sure they're going to have some discussions after 14, Kelv, as to whether we get through.
I think if it continues raining, there'll definitely be a pause. It'll be interesting to see. And love the buggy. Fantastic.
Didn't have them in your day, did they?
No, they made me walk off. Or maybe that's because they're under pressure to get the races out of the way. But just got it wrong. Ran in wide, too much grip, bike bouncing around underneath him. And you'll see it now. He's running in wide, bike bounce, 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 grip, and then it lets go. And just slides under the air fence, uncomfortable, and also wet and horrible. You know.
Yeah, Freddie Lindgren's bouncing about.
The track's been bumpy right from the warm-up, actually, prior to the meeting beginning. But credit to everybody, because you know, there's obviously been a sense that in the pits that let's just get this done. The later we wait, the more time we wait, the more chances that the weather's not going to improve in Poland at this time of year.
Yeah.
So, disappointment for Bewley and the Brits. We will see a rerun. And can Robert Lambert pick up 4 points? It'd be very handy if he could, because, to be honest, that 7 points we had previously was very useful and gave us a chance of a medal, but he's had his hair cut, and so he's tidied himself up. His hair was almost down by his waist earlier this year.
Yes.
But he does look young, doesn't he?
He is.
That's why.
He's the under-21 rider, Kelv.
He is indeed. But the other rider's even younger, isn't he, Kemp? He's 18, so...
Yeah, a conscious decision by the Great Britain management to give the youngsters this experience.
Be interesting for Kemp, because Kemp's got to have a ride.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Maybe they're thinking that they won't need to, because it's going to get to Heat 14. That'll be interesting if they haven't used the under-21 rider before Heat 14. I presume that won't come into play. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
Well, heat number 12 rerun about to happen. Robert Lambert in red, Freddie Lindgren in white, Oliver Bernson in yellow. And 3 riders only for the restart. So, unless he's awarded the race. No, here comes Lindgren. There you go. They're very slow getting out. The 2 minutes was on.
Well, you've got to give them a bit of extra time.
I'm just going to say, you can't award the race from there anyway.
No, but it's very dirty out there. The goggles, the bike, you know, you're going to need a few more moments to turn around, but they are under pressure to get to the start. And here we go. Boys back up at tapes. Robert Lambert, can he come up with something now? Mechanic just making sure the chain oiler's on and the fuel. They don't run on fresh air, and it can be very frustrating when they run out of fuel on the start line. Heat number 12, rerun, Nige.
Yes, indeed. 3 riders only then for Great Britain. Robert Lambert on his own in the red helmet, and then it's Lindgren in white and Bernson in yellow for the Swedish side. Bernson on a warning after his previous race, where he quite clearly jumped at the start, punished himself, and that's why the referee allowed the race to continue. A bitterly cold night in Lublin, it has to be said. Cold, wet, miserable. That's how it is right now.
Quite glad to be in London.
Yeah.
But look at it, conditions have deteriorated. But can this man now, on the inside, a second chance here, can he do something from there?
Heat number 12 it is. Oh, Lindgren.
What
Just had a little
start.
nibble, but the red light is on.
All right, too good a start.
Yeah, yeah.
We can ill afford these delays,
We don't need these delays, absolutely.
Well, let's hope they don't stop by the pit gate.
Send them back round.
Let's hope they go straight back round.
Yeah. Yeah, Lindgren, yeah, he's gone slightly early, but I know, I understand the argument that the Swedish management could say, well, he actually dropped the clutch up absolutely the time the tapes moved.
You can argue till the cows come home. That's not the rule.
No, he's gone early. He's gone early.
That's not the rule. If you move before the tapes go, I'm afraid the ref won't have it.
Yeah.
But it's he's obviously keen to get underway, and who can blame him tonight? It's a difficult one. Freddie Lindgren will get a warning for that, of course.
Yes. Yeah. Look at the conditions. Goodness me. So difficult when it's like that.
Well, there's more emphasis on starting. You know, as I said, it's a level of these conditions. If you can make starts on a night like tonight, it makes life much, much easier. Freddie Lindgren and Oliver Berntsson here are in with a great opportunity of pushing for a medal now. They pick up 7 points. They put themselves in a good position for bronze.
Yep, so it is Robert Lambert on a warning. All three riders that remain here on a warning. Warning, warning, warning. Lambert, Lindgren and Berntsson. So they better behave at the start line.
Oh, they're going back to the pits, yeah. OK.
Yep, so we're up to heat number 12. We need to get to heat 14 for a result. We are racing through until heat 14, and then we will take a pause and look at the situation and decide whether racing continues through to the end of the night or whether the race is the meeting is declared after heat 14.
You just wonder whether heat 13 is going to determine the world champions, don't you? If,
well, we can't say that, can we? That's the thing. We don't know what's going to happen after heat 14, but you're right, it could well do.
If it's called at heat 14, then it could well do.
Yep. Oh, Lambert again! Yep, and he's looking at Berntsson. He's looking at Berntsson. I'm pretty sure Lambert's suggesting that Berntsson moved as well there.
Can't see his front wheel, can we?
Right, here's the moment. Yeah, Berntsson moved.
No, only his body.
He moved slightly.
Yeah, but
Robert has touched the tapes and therefore will have to go for a second time. See, Berntsson moved, you can see it clearly.
Well...
And I would argue that Berntsson's on a warning anyway. A nightmare for Robert Lambert tonight.
Well, do you think that Berntsson should be thrown out as well?
I think because he's already on a warning, and he definitely moved there.
Yeah, that's a point.
I don't know.
Well, this is a massive moment for the Swedes.
It is.
They've been gifted 7 points here.
Yeah.
And you may consider and you may argue that they've been a little bit fortunate. You can't, it's been a nightmare for Robert Lambert with 2 tape touching infringements. That's well, almost unforgivable, but you're right. Certainly Berntsson moved his body. Whether the bike moved, clearly, I'm not sure. It was difficult to see through the safety fence, but there's no question that he sort of made an effort to move forward. But this is massive for the Swedes, isn't it? You know, being gifted these points.
So Lindgren up at tapes, but Berntsson definitely moved, and I can understand why Lambert reacted. I can understand that.
But you have to resist that, unfortunately.
Yes, yeah. And I've never ridden a bike.
I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
It's so frustration when the rider on the outside of you or the inside of you just twitches and you move and touch the tapes. And that's effectively what's happened to Robert. But because Berntsson's on a warning, you could argue that he should go as well. But that's not the case.
Yep, so here we go with heat number 12. It's a gift 7-0. It's an open goal tap-in in football terms, and it's Freddie Lindgren in white and Oliver Berntsson on yellow as they go down the back straight now. Lindgren's had a good year in the World Championship. We're disappointed that he only finished 3rd, but you know, he is the real deal. And
it's better than last year.
Yeah, it is. Do you expect him to be a serious challenger for the title again next year, Kel?
Absolutely. I don't see him going away. I think he has the belief that he can win it. And he came close this year. He was very consistent, so I don't see any reason why Freddie Lindgren won't be a strong contender for the World Championship. He's hunched over the handlebars because the track conditions are tricky. And as I say, he sets his bike up to be very aggressive. And as a consequence, he's having to make sure he stays right over the handlebars all the way round. Difficult conditions, but a 7-point haul. I tell you what, once they finally get back to the pits, they'll be chuffed to bits. 7 points in the bag, into the last lap. Can they hang on? Can Oliver Berntsson just stay upright just for a few metres more?
That's Freddie Lindgren, who got the bronze medal, but also on the same weekend as his wife gave birth to their first child. So it's congratulations to the Lindgren family, and it's a 7-0 victory for Sweden.
Yeah.
A gift 7-0 after both British boys were excluded. Dan Bewley fell. Robert Lambert touched the tapes. Look at that scoreline. 0 for Great Britain, 7 for Sweden.
Hasn't been their night, has it?
Put Sweden on to 19, level with Russia.
Big result,
Poland
that.
are on 23. Yeah, absolutely. Big result indeed. Lindgren and Berntsen then, 7 points for Sweden. This is how it looks. Now, the key here is look how many races they've raced. Sweden are on 19, level with Russia, but Russia have got a race in hand.
Yeah.
It's looking like the three at the top are pulling clear here now, Kelv.
Yeah, absolutely. And Russia have got Australia in the next race, which is a strong lineup. Let's see the replays of the 7-0. They managed to put it off, which is it's good news. So they've done nicely, but a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus will come on Heat 13 while we're watching replays of the two Swedish boys, making sure that the gift of 7 points was well received, and they got to see the checkered flag. But we've got Sayfutdinov and Laguta against Doyle and Frick here, and this could be, if it's called after Heat 14, the deciding race.
Great point, absolutely. We can't say that with any certainty. We don't know what the plan is after Heat 14.
No, we
crack
don't.
on, or...
We don't, but there'll be discussions, and it wouldn't be a major surprise if the meeting was called at after Heat 14.
Wouldn't surprise me either. Sayfutdinov and Laguta up against Doyle and Frick is your lineup. It's red and blue helmet colours for Russia, white and yellow for Australia in heat number 13. Credit all the riders here.
Here we go.
They are having a go in really tricky conditions. You've got to give them immense credit. Russia off to a good start, although Laguta hasn't got there and he's caught in the mud and slop on the corner as Doyle tries the inside run as well as Max Frick. It's getting all very tight down there. Sayfutdinov is in red. Oh, and Max Frick almost takes him out there. It's getting so wide.
Oh, how did it come through? Sayfutdinov, crikey, he took his life in his hands there. This could be disastrous for the Russians here. They're dropping points, valuable points up against the Australian riders. All of a sudden they'll want the rating to continue after Heat 14, that's for sure. Laguta's out the back, he's not going to score. Looks like the Australians are going to pick up 5 points. But crikey, how on earth did Sayfutdinov get back to the front? What an effort from him.
Proper speedway from Emil Sayfutdinov. Doyle and Frick really got stuck in there.
Yeah.
And what a race that was. Into the final lap they go.
Wow.
With Emil Sayfutdinov leading the way here. 4 points, but it looks like a 5-4 heat win for the Australian side here.
Yeah.
And it's Emil Sayfutdinov who wins it. Doyle again losing control. The conditions clearly very, very tricky out there.
Wow.
Can't believe the riders are enjoying this at all.
Well, they're not. But I tell you what, that throws a cat amongst the pigeons regarding the results. Point score going to get very, very close. Could even see Poland remain in front. I'm not quite sure. But
23 apiece.
23 apiece. Wow. How do you decide? When they met? When they met, probably.
Wow. Wow. How did he get through there?
I don't know. And if they win the championship tonight, it will become largely down to that ride. What an effort from Sayfutdinov. Took his life in his hands more than once there. Wow.
Did, yeah, absolutely. 5-4 to Australia. 5-4 for Australia, the scoreline. At the end of the next race, we are guaranteed a result. Russia 23, Poland 23. The information we are getting is that they are going to try and press on through to Heat 21. So we are not going to have a break after this next race. We are going to try and go all the way through to Heat 21, Kelv.
Wow, that'll be good. I think it'll be. It's going to get very exciting. Look at this. Look how tight that was. 3 abreast down the back straight. As you said, Nige, proper speedway. But
I think I might have backed off there, Kelv.
Well, he didn't. I tell you what, Max Frick, how on earth he didn't wipe it? Oh! Breathe in! Wow! Max Frick, I thought he was going to run into him there. He does well to avoid him. Then Sayfutdinov's out of control, almost in the air fence. Doyle coming up the inside. Breathe in! Just about gets through. Wow, what a moment in the race. And will that be the moment that sees them through to winning the treble and winning another gold medal tonight? Good that we've got more speedway coming up. We're going to Heat 21, folks.
We're going to try. And that was great to see. Speedway out of the
There you go, the new normal draw.
Top draw. Yeah.
That was wild, wasn't it?
Madsen and Berkemos for the Danes, and Milik and Krčmar for the Czech Republic side. So
Berkemo holds his place
he rode
here.
well.
Yeah.
He rode well, I thought.
He did.
So yeah, and it's a good start from Milik in white. What can Krčmar do here in the yellow helmet? Go on! Madsen just seemed to lose control, and the under-21 rider in blue, Marcus Berkemos, almost was able to pass Leon Madsen, not Leon Madsen, of course, Václav Milik, the Czech Republic rider, in the white helmet colour. Madsen is up front.
Yeah, Madsen's riding well again here. And tough move in the first corner, sees him hit the front. Berkemos once again holding his own here, getting the better of Krčmar, and if he can hang on there, that's 6 very useful points for Denmark. Madsen, I've got to say, I'm impressed here. Certainly for Krčmar at the back, he's not enjoying conditions at all, but for Berkemos, under massive pressure, being kept in, doing a good service to his country.
Yep, 4 points for Leon Madsen on the way. And it looks like a couple of points for Milik and 3 points for Milik and a couple for Berkemos. So that will give Denmark a race advantage here of 6-3 in Heat 14. And we do now know that we will not be coming back tomorrow. We will have a result tonight in Lublin. So the world champions will be crowned tonight. 6-3 in favour of Denmark on that occasion. They move on to 19 points. And 11 for the Czech Republic. Yep.
They're doing okay, and Leon Madsen's upturning performance after a disappointing opening ride has inspired the Danes so far this evening, and credit to him. And Berkemos, the youngster, has done well so far and holding his own nicely.
Yes, so that's the result of heat number 14. And by the way, if we do have to go to a count back for the world title, of course, Russia beat Poland 5-4. So that's worth bearing in mind. But the information that we're getting from the pits is that this will not be the end. We are going to try and get through to Heat 21.
Yeah, Milik makes the start initially from gate 2, runs wide, but Madsen reads that really nicely, and the classic turn back up the inside, and really from that moment on he's untroubled out in front. The youngster from Denmark there holding the inside, and Krčmar tries to get amongst it but can't. Momentarily, Berkemos was alongside Milik down the back straight, but couldn't get second place. But 6 points for the Danes here. And their talisman, Leon Madsen, these days. No Nicky Pedersen, no Niels Christian Iversen. Changing of the guard, you would say, in the Denmark camp. But so far, they're doing okay.
Yep, so here we go with Heat 15, cracking on. Lindgren and Berntsen in white and yellow. The Poles, Smarslik and Wozniak in the red and blue helmet colour. This is heat number 15 of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations. It's a one-off world final this year after we lost last night to the rain. And I think it's fair to say we could have lost tonight to the rain as well.
Oh, very easily. If this had been a league match, it would have been off. We wouldn't have even left home, that's for sure. But fair play to them, they've got it on. We've got, they haven't used their under-21 rider yet, Dominik Kubera, the Poles. They're going with their top 2 again here.
Yep, so it is heat number 15. Who's going to get there first? Smarslik, the world individual champion, is at it again here. Lindgren maybe trying the inside run. Looks over his shoulder for Oliver Berntsen, but it's a 5-4 as things stand.
Yeah, it does.
A 5-4 race win for the Swedes here. What can Wozniak do for Poland in the blue helmet colour? Because as things stand, it's only the 4 points for Poland. Russia will be rubbing their hands with glee.
They will indeed, and all the attention will be on third place. Wozniak out of shape, gonna run into the fence. No, just about stays on. Berntsen in third place. That third place is still up for grabs. Wozniak coming in too hard. It's really difficult to overtake there. But he'll keep trying because he knows how important the points are. Oh, so much grip going in. Having to hang on to the bike. Smarslik's comfortable in front. Can Wozniak do anything about Berntsen?
Steady on, boys. Wozniak's trying absolutely everything. He's going up the inside run here. Has he got the speed? Down the line, down the straight they go. And Berntsen, is he going to stay on his bike here? Surely one of them will come down. No, they've stayed on. Oh,
Lindgren's gone down. Oh, all three.
No, that would not happen in normal conditions. That would not happen in normal conditions, Kelv.
Have to agree. Something went wrong with Freddie's bike there on the exit of the corner. Looked like something went wrong, whether a chain came off, but it was a very odd place for him to suddenly come off the bike.
Yeah.
I've got to believe something mechanical or structurally has gone wrong with the bike as a consequence of the bike bouncing around.
You can only speculate with the bumping. Is it a chain coming off?
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. Could be a rear chain, but crikey. Oh, no. Maybe he flipped it. Maybe he flipped it. Sorry, mate. We were concentrating on third and fourth. Maybe he actually flipped him. Nothing went wrong with the bike. Maybe just the conditions.
Well,
I think in real time, I was concentrating on the battle for...
It was a great race.
Third, and I didn't actually catch exactly what, but it looked like, very briefly on the replays there, it looked like Freddie may have actually just come off the back of the bike.
I do hope he's okay.
Well, not only that, he got them run into, didn't he? Oh, he's okay? Is that him there?
Yeah. It's one of the other boys that's having treatment.
So Freddie's okay. So is it
laid
Berndsen?
the bike down. Yeah. So it's so uncharacteristic of Freddie Lindgren.
Wozniak or Berndsen that's in trouble here. That's Berndsen.
No,
that's Wozniak.
That's Wozniak,
sorry, excuse
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just got it all wrong there.
He would say Berndsen has to broadslide, and Berndsen's there, and then Wozniak is the rider that's landed at the front of that pile.
I think they're all okay.
Yeah.
I think they're all okay. We missed it because we were concentrating on these two. We didn't see on screen what happened to him, Freddie Lindgren.
Oh.
By golly. By golly. Yeah, when you see that, then you have to question whether we should be racing.
Really?
Of course. You know, you've got one of the top three, the number 3 in the world, suddenly being caught out like that. You have to. You have to ask the question. You know, it's an unusual place for him to suddenly lose control. He's been caught out by the conditions and thrown off the bike. Ordinarily, a rider of Freddie Lindgren's quality, that wouldn't happen. And for, I tell you what, all three of those riders are very fortunate to get away with that.
Very, very lucky indeed. And, well, I'm delighted to see all three back in the pits, which is excellent. And
have we been given a result?
Not yet, not yet. Lindgren's excluded, obviously. I just wonder. I don't know. I might be.
Was that a 7?
Overplaying this.
7-2.
We're just awaiting confirmation from the referee's box, Kelv. But yeah, thank goodness they're okay. Thank goodness they're okay. Zmarzlik missed it all, of course.
I think this is when we didn't, because we're not there, we missed that bit of action because the camera was on with this wide angle. You'll see Freddie come off now.
Yeah,
he's flipped it. He's just picked a load of grip, bike's aggressive, and comes, and then the rider's running into the rider. Then I tell you, Wozniak for me is the luckiest one here because he actually hits Freddie's bike. There.
Oh, it's his back wheel.
Yeah, and
thankfully it wasn't his leg that was slammed into.
So lucky.
Yeah.
Both of them. By golly.
I mean, Freddie Lindgren just...
I thought something went wrong with his bike because we didn't see it because we're focusing on the third and fourth, but by golly, that's yeah. I think maybe questions will be asked, but it looks like they're going to keep going.
Well, I think the result stands here. In fact, here comes confirmation that it's 6 points for Poland and 3 for Sweden. So Oliver Berndsen with the 3 points there. So 6 for Poland puts them on 29, and 3 for Sweden puts them on 22. So there we are. That's the latest. I'm just so pleased to see them all back up and in the pits. So we are, as we say, trying desperately to get through to Heat 21 here, to get through to the latter stages of this tournament.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult for Kubera now. They're going to call upon him. He's cold, he's stiff, conditions are difficult. Bartosz Zmarzlik giving him some advice, but very difficult.
Yep, well, there will be a short break before we crack on with heat number 16 now. So hopefully it doesn't rain any harder, and the boys can press on.
How cold he is.
Yep, 15 heats gone in the Speedway of Nations.
Coles, you can rely on us for footy's finest pies. And when you think,
He'll be fine.
and when you still think,
He'll be fine.
because with Coles Insurance, we've got you covered. And with quality cover, it really will be.
See? Fine.
Search Coles Car, Home or Pet Insurance.
Our menu includes the trade pack, the tray pack, the van pack, the service pack and the tipper pack. And with our takeaway truck deals, they start at just $46,690. The Takeaway Truck, brought to you by Isuzu.
Bold choice.
Yeah! Bold taste!
Fanta, bold choice, bold taste.
Let's see. Let's see what the outcome is here, but you can understand tensions running high there, Kelvin, can't you? I think we're done, and Russia are world champions. The meeting looks like it's abandoned, and Russia have retained the world title. Their level, the result will be declared after Heat 14. The result will be declared after Heat 14, as it was at Heat 14, and that means now that because Russia beat Poland 5-4, they have won the Speedway of Nations.
So Heat 8, when they met, was decisive in the end.
And did we get Denmark against Sweden? Yes, we did. And
who's third?
Denmark are third.
Okay, so Denmark pick up a medal for the first time in some time, which is credit to them. But
that's how I work it out anyway. 5 points.
Gold medals, 3 years of the Speedway of Nations.
Heat 10, 5-4, Denmark.
Yeah, total domination from Russia. Heat number 8 proved to be crucial in the end. We did flag it up, Nigel, didn't we? We did flag it up, and as a consequence of the 5-4 there with a new point scoring system, that has come to the rescue of the Russians. And also, you've got to say that ride from Sayfutdinov, where he took his life in his hands when he went round the outside of Max Frick, and Jason Doyle, has that Herculean effort there from Sayfutdinov has seen them retain the championship for the 3rd consecutive year. Congratulations to Russia. A great effort, far from ideal, of course, but we've had a meeting. This time of year in Poland, not the best time to be racing.
But, it was fine 2 weeks ago in Torrent.
It was.
But we're 2 weeks further in.
Yeah, but the weather changes quickly in this part of the world. And unfortunately, the cold, wet weather has really curtailed this Speedway of Nations. But I tell you what, tonight, the boys Laguta and Sayfutdinov, they won't care. They're world champions again, Nige.
They are indeed. It's a miracle that we've got a result, let's be honest. You know, it could so easily have been off. There we see the scores after Heat 14. And that's because Russia beat Poland 5-4 and Denmark beat Sweden 5-4. Australia 5th, Great Britain 6th, Czech Republic 7th. So that is how it stands after Heat 14, and that result will stand. So we can start getting some reaction now with Emil Sayfutdinov.
Emil, what an absolutely crazy evening it's been, but you come away with the gold. Absolutely fantastic. It's back-to-back wins.
You know, I'm really happy, you know, because it's we've been ready for that race, but you know how it's look at weather, you know how it's look track, you know, to be honest, you know, today I don't want to ride because I speak with my team, you know, and they say the same, you know, his opinion, and a lot of riders said the same. So we decide, you know, make a warm-up, and then after warm-up, you know, we continue the meeting, you know. So I'm really happy, you know, to be 3 times world champion in a row. So that is for us is very important because I think, you know, I hope in Russia, you know, Speedway is growing up, you know, it's really soon, and somebody, you know, can see us, you know, in television and or wherever, you know, to help us, you know, in support how it's looking, you know, Poland, you know, representation. So I hope, you know, that is help for us.
Well, congratulations,
Thank you
Russia.
very much.
You are the Monster Energy Speedway of Nations gold medalists.
Yeah, woo!
Yes, congratulations to Russia then. Great
Brilliant effort.
Poland will be disappointed, of course they will.
Well, I tell you what, since they didn't like the fact that they changed the system, there's no question about it. Marek Zizek waving goodbye because he now retires as the team manager this evening. This is his last time in charge of the national side, so he'll be disappointed not to have won, but his time has gone. He has had a remarkable run, though, the man, Marek Zizek. He's made some big calls. Was it the right call not to bring Janowski here tonight? I would argue it was the wrong call.